Good morning. Good morning. It is Thursday, April 11th. I am Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and laced up legislator for the House of Delegates in 93rd District. It's a lovely Thursday morning, and I thank you all for being here for the morning dew for certified doers just like you. For those of you just joining us, the morning dew is what it is, right? We take our time on Thursday mornings, and this is actually your time, right? Though I am the, um, I feel like it was important to create this space where you all get the opportunity to ask the questions, comments, all those things. So, like, I'm going to go through what's happening over the next week for us. Talk about a couple of things that we have in the hopper, like in the works for community things. And then during that time, you can tell me what you got going on in the neighborhood, anything that you want me to share, any questions about what's happening in politics. I had somebody text me the other day who said, I heard you're going to be in a special session. I'm like, nope, it's regular. It's normal. This is the stuff we do. All right. So drop your stuff, drop your questions, drop all the things in the comments, and we'll roll with it. All right. For the next 30 minutes, because I'm 30 minutes late. Let's just be real. All right. So across the screen, you'll see at the bottom scrolling all the information about how to get in contact with us. So if you hear something and you're like, hey, Jackie, I need to ask more questions, I need whatever, no worries, all of that scrolling across the bottom of the screen, and the events we have coming up. So today, I want to say this out loud for anybody that is in the Hampton Roads area. The city of Norfolk is actually having a veterans claim clinic at Lambert's Point a recreation center. So if you are a vet that's like, yo, I should have been working on my claim, struggle mode back here. All right. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to switch spaces. We've been having some, this is why I was starting late, been having some issues, some internet issues, y'all. That's real. I don't want to call out my company, but I do want to say I'm tired of having internet issues. I'm tired of that. I know that much. So we're shifting into here so you can actually see and hear me. All right. So Veterans Claims Clinic, Veterans Claim Clinic happened today from, I want to say from 9 to 6 p.m. at the Lambert's Point Recreation Center. Boom, bow, got that right. Secondly, I am having a fundraiser on Monday from 5:30 to 7. Y'all, like, as I sit here and I get myself together to fundraise, I'm like, yo, this is not sustainable. I'm going to have to figure out how to enterprise this stuff so that I can still have a whole job, be the delegate, and then have the staff that I need. But if you feel like you feel so compelled and you like the work that we do, please go to delegatejackieglass.com. The donate button is at the top. Would love it, love it. Every bit counts. I'm like, just put me in your budget. Just send $20 a month our way. Like, we will appreciate it. I have a transparency statement coming out, which will show you exactly where your donated dollars are going. I sometimes think people really get hell bent on who people take money from and then not really have a whole understanding of what they do with that money. So it's two things, like who's giving you money and then what you're doing with it. You deserve to know that. So our transparency statement will show you all of that. Good morning. I just saw that. Sorry, I see Mr. Little. Good morning. Thank you for hanging in there and always being here with us. Good morning from WHRB. Appreciate you. So we have that going on. That is Monday at Elation Brewery in Norfolk. Love to have you there. Love to see you there. All of the good things. I'm going to be back in Richmond on April 17th. As you all know, this past Monday on the 8th, the governor has, so when we go to session and we do all that stuff, the governor has several weeks to look at all of the work we did and do what they want to do with that's the business that we did, the legislation. So they can choose to change or amend it, right? Change it. Amending is the same thing. They can choose to sign it. They can choose to veto it, meaning like I don't want it. Or they can choose to do nothing, which means essentially it's going to come into law on July 1st. So we're all looking towards what all the work that's going to have to happen. There's a lot of work that's going to have to happen while we're in Richmond this next week. So the 17th, I'm back in Richmond. That should be a very, very, very long day. There are over 300 changes to the budget by itself. And that matters a lot for us because we got things we're looking for in the budget. We have things that we want to see changed. I've been still working with the administration folks on trying to get specifically Norfolk all the things that we asked for, one way, shape, or form. I'd love you to drop in the comments, since y'all ain't talking, y'all just listening. I'd love you to put in the comments, what is it, if there was one thing that you wanted to be in the budget, right? Our city just presented their budget last night. Remember, the state is making their budget right now. If there's one thing you wanted in the budget, what would that thing be? Where would you invest? Give me your top priority of where you would invest your money in the budget. Drop it in the comments. The important part is I talk about us working on the budget, us working on legislation next week, me going back to Richmond, is this is not the season to be trying to say, I want y'all to make changes, right? Because the budgets and sometimes legislation, they're like cakes, right? So at some point, people get together and start determining the ingredients that they're going to put in the cake, right? They're going to these are the ingredients. So the things you drop in the comments that are important to you, they start thinking about how much of each of those things they want to put in that cake. And I'm going to tell y'all, that starts happening around August timeframe, right? Even now, some of them, after we approve the budget, your city, the Commonwealth of Virginia, after we're already thinking about next year's budget. And the leadership are typically telling their folks in October, November, exactly how they like what they want to see in the budget and start formulating. So the time to start advocating is near the end of the year, right? Quarter 3, quarter 2. Because sometimes we just come up time late. We be late. We be trying to join in the process when it's already so far along and we really not going to get anywhere. So between August and October, I need y'all to be thinking about what kind of legislation I want to see, what kind of things I want to see in the budget. And I want you to start advocating for those things. Actually start advocating for them in a real way. Okay. I think my internet is acting up. I'm just making sure. I'm making sure. I know. Let me know if it looks like it's acting up, but I'm not sure. So I'm just give me the heads up either way. So that part, that's happening next week. After I go to all the work we do in the legislature on Wednesday will go into effect July 1st. Right. So we're about to get our new laws July 1st. I need y'all to be abreast of that because there's some things that'll be changing that will matter to you. And I love it. I love it. Miss Deborah said education. Education is so broad. I love to hear when people say, yo, I want to see more stuff on education. What I love to hear is what aspect of education is so important to you. Some people say infrastructure. Some people say special education. Some people say mental health. Some people say teacher pay. So what piece of that is really important to you? Why that matters is because we'll hear oftentimes, I think people come and they're like, ain't nobody working on this. And I can tell you, I bet you somebody working on that. And there's pieces of this pie. So my hope is that we don't expect perfectionism from ourselves, but come to the table with the best that we can give on the thing that matters most. I know y'all probably tired of hearing me saying that, but we do better business when you get brilliant on what matters to you. So if you love education and you specifically have a heart for supporting student athletes, or you specifically have the heart for, you can have many things, but sometimes it gets really hard when okay, whew, there's so many things to fix in there. So where do you think you add the most value in helping and seeing how we fund and how we rethink education. I want y'all to think about that, not just education, but when we talk about crime in communities, when we talk about programmatic things for the youth, like what area do I want to do the arts? Do I want to do financial education? Am I interested in the trades? You see how every issue becomes so expansive and why us just picking that little thing. So I'm going to remind you, there's not a person listening to me that can change the world. Not one of y'all can change the world, but you can change your corner of the world, which creates that ripple effect. If we're all changing our corner, right, doing our little part where we are, then we collectively shift the world. That's how movements happen, right? People picking their poison and deciding that they're going to go for the cure for that particular poison. So I can't cure rat poisoning with snake bite poisoning. I don't know if that makes sense, but you pick it and you go after it. Okay. And I am grateful. And thank you for putting that in there. Good morning, Mr. Elliott. And good morning, all y'all on Instagram. So that's that. I'll be back. And then I need you to mark your calendar, save the date. Saturday, April 27th is the Fly Norfolk event I have. We've joined up, so I think it'll actually be the 7th year, my 3rd year. I started it, and it was 2 separate programs with AIM, and now we've meshed together. It's called Fly Norfolk. It's at Norfolk International Airport. The details are on Eventbrite, so I would love to see y'all there. We've got pilots. You can sit in a plane. I know y'all have tired of hearing me, but I will keep plugging this stuff, only because it's a good time. It really is a good opportunity. The JROTCs from other school districts have come and enjoyed themselves. We want you to come and enjoy yourself as well. Okay. All right. Now, I don't see any questions, comments in the chat, so I'll get to some probably legislative things. Is that that's probably one of the more important things that you guys want to hear about. In Norfolk, our entire delegation, and for those of you all who don't know what a delegation is, that's all of the people for us on the state level. So we have a federal delegation for Virginia, right? That's all of our senators and our Congress people. And then we have a state delegation that's all of our senators and our delegates, because like in Congress, they're called congressmen and women, and representatives. At the state house, they're called delegates. It used to be called burgesses, but now we're called delegates. It's the same thing on the state level. So our delegation is working on having a joint town hall, which will be so good for everyone. What ended up happening is sometimes I'll do a town hall and I'll get, 20 people there, which is great. I always feel like the right people show up. No kidding. The right people always show up. I'm always grateful. But there's an opportunity for you all to be a part of our collective experience up there. We get more people in the room, more sort of conversations, more opportunity for people to connect. So we're going to be doing a joint town hall. Be on the standby for that. That's going to come out. And that'll be important when you want to get into the nitty gritty of some of the decisions that were made up there, some of the legislation, and then us being able to connect you to all of the right things. Oh, good morning, Philip. Good morning, Sierra. It's good to see y'all. Oh, and I'm so, Sierra, I just can't wait to talk to you about this project. I was listening to, so y'all know I have to have a day job, right? And I'm not even going to front my part-time day job. It's not enough to sustain life, but I get to bring out some of the most beautiful stories. And oh my goodness, I was listening to Sierra's story that she shared with us yesterday. And I was like, oh yes, I love storytelling. I love it. So I'm excited about this project that we're doing in conjunction with Virginia Tourism called Truth Be Told, and have my community members be a part of that. So it's so dope. I'm excited. What was I saying? Oh, about the delegation. And y'all. Okay, so those of you all who are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X can't see the comments that come in on Instagram. So I just have to say, I am so honored and blessed to have Get Nailed by Krishan on the live this morning. So y'all say hey to the best nail tech there is. Y'all ain't see my nails. Y'all ain't see them. Y'all see that? And let me tell you, this art is based off of a local artist Poetry Jackson. We gotta get the picture out there because she dope. Like that's what she do. Y'all like that? Look at that. Don't that butterfly look? Oh, that's not a butterfly. That's girl face. Don't that butterfly look real? Ooh, that's right. Because she's a creative. She's a small woman-owned business. Come through. We love her. I love her for what she do for me. And the joy she brings and the fact that she has brought her vision into life. Good morning, Krishan. So in that vein, right, as these hands be moving with all of Krishan's work on it, ain't it beautiful art? So Krishan Phillip on Facebook said, beautiful artwork. Yeah, she's an artist, and I enjoy, I'm going to segue for a bit, especially because I think this is super important. There are a lot of things that I don't choose to do. Right. Like I grew up they would call it a tomboy now, but I'm just like, I grew up loving to wear flannels and oversized pants. Like I did not like to wear skirts. I didn't do all these things. And I remember when I got elected, my mother, she said to me, Jackie, you need to wear some lipstick. Could you just wear some lipstick? And I was like, She's like, Jackie, if you do one thing for me, you got to get your nails done. And I did, but it never felt right. Like I realized that's money. I don't make a whole lot of money. That's an investment that I have to make. And when I found one I have a bias. I love to support small businesses. That is really important to me, to be a supporter of small businesses, particularly in district. Krishan is not in district, but I'm super grateful to be able to have her in Hampton Roads. I love to support women businesses. That is important as well, because there was a time, I think it wasn't until the 1980s that women were even able to get business loans to start their business. I met a woman whose mother was a dentist and back in the 80s, couldn't get a loan without a husband in order to start her business. And then I love supporting Black businesses, not in that order, but I think there's something very special about the things we choose to do for ourselves and how we choose to invest our dollars within our community if we're not a natural investor. So I do consider the work that I do, or the work that I get from Sierra while she is a nail tech, and that is a luxury and a privilege to be able to do. It's also for me like an investment. So I want you all to think about that, when you choose where you're going to eat, when you choose where you get your hair done, where you choose where you buy your suit, right? Is there a way to make sure that dollar is circulating in my city, right? In my community, whether it's your ethnic community, your gender community, your locality community, like be intentional about how you circulate your dollars. I really am. I've stepped away from Amazoning some things for that purpose. And that really does matter. It truly does matter. When you think about the things we do. Yep. But she's so dope. I love that segue. Thank you for that opportunity. And know that legislatively, there's things that we can do. There's more that we can do. There's a legislative side of business. Okay. I think I'm breaking up. I'm going to go ahead and see if I could make sure that am I good? Are you guys, I'm not breaking up, am I? I'm just making sure, because I see my little tickler giving me back and forth, like it's good, it's not good, it's good, it's not good. Okay. So with that, I did get a bill vetoed. I think I talked about that last week. And I did get a bill that was amended. I'm rolling back into the work that we have to do for this week. It is disheartening sometimes when you have a bill that you think is going to do something and you think you're going to do really great, that it get changed. My interrogations bill, I'm told y'all I'm really working on the prohibition of lying to youth in custodial interrogation. That is a goal. And I've been very open with the police associations, the sheriffs, with everyone about the fact that I think if we're going to have this environment where we're trying to build trust with police, especially among our youth who are having some, being faced with growing up watching, now that we have cameras and things everywhere, growing up not being able to see the positive interactions, and then knowing that when they meet a police officer, they have no idea that they are legally allowed to lie to them. I think that there's a level, there's something wrong there, and that we should not be shouldn't be lying to youth in interrogations. And I get it. Like, there's a lot of work that we have to do with each other to make this work. And I'm willing to work. I've been at the table with all of the law enforcement agencies, and we came to an agreement, and it got vetoed by the governor. I actually had, and I was so shocked. I'm going to tell y'all this. So I was going to present my bill. It was House Bill 250, the making the practices for interrogations. And I'm presenting my bill, and there was like, is there anyone here to speak on the bill? And like these 3 police officers stood up, and I was just like, oh my God, this is where my bill dies. These police officers, different organizations, they got up and they spoke in support of my bill. I was just like taken back. First off, I was in a rush, right? Like I sort of sped through that presentation. I'll have to post the presentation. I sped through the presentation because I had another bill presentation to go to and a committee meeting. So I was like trying to hustle up. I was like, I got to get through this. And they stood up, and I was like, here we go. I work, because here's what happens sometimes, y'all, is like you're working with all of these different agencies and people. And when you find, I even had the people from the state Department of Criminal Justice Service. They came into my office. Homeboy rolled up in there, and he was like, listen, Delegate Glass, like this part we can't do. This timeline ain't even possible. Like, but this is what you have to do when you're hearing, when people have something to say about your bill, like you got to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. And he gave it to me straight. And that's, I think, what I appreciate the most is when people are just honest with you, even in the community, when they just like, nah, Jack, that ain't gonna work. But you gotta walk me to your why. You gotta walk me to. So we had been so much work. And so I just knew this bill would make it through, because it was just asking, all we were doing was asking the people that train the police to set the standard, to tell us what you believe, actually not set it, just explain to us what your standards is for using fake documents, for lying in interrogation, and for making statements of leniency. Right. Some of the stuff we already know, we just wanted it clear, because it was unfortunate that I could go to City of Norfolk, and this is just as an example, and they can say, hey, Jackie, yeah, we do that in interrogation practices. It's not a big deal. We don't consider it a problem. And then I could go to Fairfax, and they'd be like, oh, no, we don't do that. That's bad practice. We just don't do it. And so and then I can go out west to Wise, and they can say, well, yeah, it's frowned upon, but but it's still legal. So that is where we're asking the folks that do the training to say, hey, give us a floor. Tell us where you're working at, so we know what kind of legislation we should be bringing. And it was hard work. It was one of the second hardest. I think it was the second hardest bill, not even, maybe the third hardest bill to get across the finish line. I had a bill. Yeah. So that bill got vetoed. So it's just dead. I don't think we have the numbers to override the I don't know. I'm considering it as dead, and that I'm going to have to bring it back next year. The other bill that got amended, which I'm really frustrated with, is the solar consumer protections. Now, you drop it in the comments for me if you've ever had somebody knock on your door and try to sell you solar. Or your grandma that had somebody knock on their door and try to sell them solar, or your auntie, or somebody in your neighborhood been like, these people knocking on doors trying to sell. Tell me in the comments, say yup, just say yup or thumbs up or whatever. So the bill that I brought forth, one, was to make sure that when they're coming to your door, anybody else's door, that they're including what the financing looks like, what that means, that they essentially have to put their contractor's license on the line, right? Like on the line for what they do or don't do financially or otherwise. Here's the deal. The current certification, it's called AES, Alternative Energy Systems Certification, right? This certification has nothing in it that says you have to know anything about roofing. Right. But what happens is that the moment that those solar folks come in and they put you in this bad or good contract, and I'm not saying that all are bad, we're just trying to make sure that no one gets in the business of being like, I don't want solar because it's a scam, because that also is not true. The moment they put a hole in your roof and have not conferred with whoever put your roof together, right? They void that contract. They void your warranty. Does that make sense? So they put a hole in your roof. Uh-oh, I think my dog is telling me he got to go out, right? So I got to we don't want no pee on the floor. So they essentially void that your contract for your roof, period. That's what happens. There you go. Yes, he didn't need to go out. So that's real. And that's a problem for me. And so what we were doing is we worked with DPOR. DPOR, and for some of y'all who are small businesses and industry, like Krishan, who's a nail tech, will know that the Department of Occupational and Professional Regulations, DPOR, DPOR, they regulate the licensing for all these things, everything from cosmetology to building contractors to accountants to architects, right? DPOR has standards. All we're saying is that if you're going to get this license that says you can do alternative energy, there needs to be questions. Actually, that's what we landed on. There was a lot of work. We landed on the fact that there needs to be questions on the test to ensure that these people understand what they are doing to roofing. My question was too, is like, hey, when cable companies put satellites on someone's roof, do they also have to know? So like it really opened up this policy really opened up a whole lot, because initially my thought process was like, okay, they got to have a roofing certification. And it's like, well, you're asking people to do X, Y, Z. I said, not only am I asking people to invest more money into this business, and some small businesses don't have the capabilities. I was like, okay, but what happens when the money that they put out is not going to be nearly as much money that's lost for that person who now has avoided warranty on their roof? So we're trying to balance between how we make it so that people can be in the industry and that the big guys don't swallow the little guys. Because like I told you, I don't know if you told you, if you've been with me for a while, you know that there's so many different pieces of legislation coming my way. And so I have to have these quick questions that I ask myself in order to get work done. And so in the realm of business, I look at a bill, I'm telling you, I'll pick that bill up and I'll be with my team and we'll be debriefing it. And I'm like, all right, does this bill, does it, what do you call it? Does it give the big guy an advantage and take the small guy out of business? That's always in business questions. Like, I'm not trying to I do no harm to the small business. That is always a thing, because I realize big business often have better representation, more folks to talk to us. So I weigh that. And that is something I never want to do. But he amended the bill from making it to have questions on the test, and also because that's what they said, DPOR can just update that test to make sure that when they take the test for the alternative energy systems certification, that they have to answer questions about roofing, like knowledge that they need to know. The disclosure is there to tell those folks all the things that's in the contract, so they don't end up trying to sell their house and then can't sell it because there's a lien on it because of the solar, because that has happened. They amended the bill to just be a work group. So I'm going to take the small win, probably. I'm going to talk to my team today, and we're going to let people know what it is that we're doing. So what a work group essentially is there's nothing that goes into law other than the fact that people need to work together to figure out what we should do next. Now, this is where this gets funny. And this is how politics is funny sometimes. The first time I brought this bill forth, I brought it as a work group. Because I knew I was trying to manage my own expectations about what I could get done, knowing that it was a Republican-controlled House and that I thought it was important enough to get done. So it got turned. It was a work group, and they killed it. They essentially was like, no, we're not even going to study why people are getting scammed. And what makes it even more weird and funny is that the Attorney General's office had just filed a suit against all of these solar companies for the bad consumer practices. So this essentially is a occupational licensing bill, but also consumer protections for you, for your neighbor, for folks like that. Yep. So that's what I'm wrestling with, y'all. That's what I'm wrestling with, is like, will I accept these amendments or not? Do I take the win? And that's what happens. Sometimes you have to take, you think you'll be able to take a bigger step and you can't, because there are checks and balances in There are checks and balances, right? That's why we have the legislative and the executive branch, that it ain't over till it's over. And that's why I told people, like, you could think we finished session and thought that all of these things were happening, but we got over 100 vetoes. We've got tons of amendments, and it just is not over until it's over. I know, Sierra, she said that's wild. That is how it goes. I can't even tell you. I probably can't. If I counted the hours that I spent on these two specific bills trying to get it right, it's frustrating, but it's the process. I do not marry my bills. I get in a relationship with my bills, but I don't marry them. I recognize that any one person can come along and decide that I can no longer be in a relationship and I can't get too upset. Or I can. I'd be like, I see you. I'm just trying to do good stuff for people. I see you. You wait. No, I'm not vindictive like that. I just be like, all right, for sure. I get it. I get it. I just hope you behave the same. I don't see any. I do see a question. How that impacts your homeowners, how that Sierra asked how that impacts your homeowners insurance policy. Yeah. So I would also, because if you're just joining us, I was talking about a bill that I brought for consumer protections for people getting solar. That is a question I would also have with my homeowners insurance. And then whoever did my roof, if you know who did the roof before, I just would not put myself in a position. And reading the contract, that's something that they sort of try to get by on people, of just like, oh no, if you sign it now, we'll be able to get moving, but if you wait, it'll be $1,000 more expensive. Like, long hair don't care, right? I don't always have long hair. I'm just quoting Lil Wayne, I think. I have no idea. But that is why you take your time. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If it is a good contractor, and in talking to the great contractors, they're like, look, Jackie, please, no, they don't say Jackie. They say, look, Delegate Glass, we agree with you. We want people to, like we wanted to, but not only do we have an executive branch that's making it harder for us to do solar, we have bad actors that are creating a space where no one wants it. So we're with you on this. I had a meeting in my office with 4 or 5, like a person from the solar industry, a person from the Department of 3 people from the Department of DPOR. And that's the good stuff, y'all. I just got goosebumps. Ooh. That's the good stuff. When like you can have a piece of policy and have people that are sitting on all sides, and like we convene together, and like we are workshopping it together, like we are making it happen late into the nights. It's a beautiful thing. I think my favorite moment in session was we had a bill, y'all, that was what was it? Come on, Jackie. Oh man, I can't remember the bill. That's so bad. Okay. Well, I don't remember what happened, but it had to do with like localities' ability to do the sound. Like, if you live near airport, there is that area is zoned a specific way because of sound. And then there's a locality that's trying to like shift some things. So we had, in my office, I had the representative for like Dulles Airport. Like he came up there and he's like whipping my vote. You know what I'm saying? Like when I say whip my vote, like trying to get me to vote in his way. Well, my team knows how I operate. Is I want to hear all sides of the story. A good lobbyist, y'all, a good lobbyist will tell you both their side, and they'll be able to tell you what people oppose about a bill. So I did have a great lobbyist in front of me. Shout out to Patrick. He was explaining his side. He was saying what but my team, while we're sitting there, called the opposing lobbyist. And this guy, I love him. Shout out to BJ. He came into my office sweating, like he was running to get there. And he pulls up, not sweating. He was just like out of breath. He's like, hold on a second. And they sat there and like hashed it out, like back and forth, point for point. And because I did not have the expertise, my knowledge didn't extend this far on this issue, I got to sit there and listen to them and digest and determine how I was going to make my vote, hearing each of them say their side. Right. One of them represented the realtors, and because they represented realtors because it's about residential zoning, and the other represented the airport because it's about, the air sounds and things from the airport. I was like, this is fun. I thought that was like the best. It's like the best thing. So let us put ourselves in a place where we are not afraid of discourse. Like we are not afraid to sit in a room with someone who doesn't believe the same thing that we are, because oftentimes if that room is big enough, everyone's getting to hear the people that need to hear to digest to hopefully get us towards what a yes is, what is better governance is, can digest it, and then we can do better things. This is why public meetings are there for this is why everything that we do is public facing, right? Your city council meetings are public, your school board meetings are important, are open, as is the House of Delegates, because we need people like you listening in on the process who are able to just digest it all in and then come with us and be like, as I was listening, I thought, here's the practicality. You are important, doers. Like we need you in this process. Okay. Now I done gone over my time naturally. Oh, thank you, Kay Willie. Still so much work to do. Hang in there, champ. Yep, still so much work to do. Happy to do it. And privileged to do it. Let me just say, you have to have the privilege of time to be able to do this. So I will end with this. We got events coming up. As I told y'all, fundraiser on Monday. I hope to see y'all there. That's scrolling across the screen. I'll be out of town. And then fly Norfolk. Please go to Eventbrite. Check it out. Get your tickets. Come. I'm telling you, it's all ages fun. Grown adults be up in there having a good time. Okay. And I had a 3-year-old flying a drone. Do you hear me? A 3-year-old was flying a drone there last time. It's just a beautiful sight to see. It is promoting that aviation is not just something that looks like the entry is for a white male. Let's just be honest. When people think of pilot, they think of a white man. And we had a Black woman pilot. She's not going to be able to make it this year, but I'm working with her to figure out if there's somebody that she knows that'll be able to come. We'll have VR there. Spaceport. Did y'all know we have a spaceport here up in Wallops Island? They send stuff to space all the time. So Spaceport is going to be there. We'll have flight simulators, all the things. I need you to come and then tell your friends. Lastly, I am going to do my pitch because I have to, y'all. I need your support. Genuinely, I am trying to keep my staff. So if you can fit me in your budget, $20 a month, $10 a month. I have a lady that literally sends $5 a month. I'm just telling you that covers that $5 covers my fee for having at delegatejackieglass.com Gmail account, right? Like literally it covers the amount for having that. So like there are operational costs, and then there are people costs. The reason why I'm able to function so well is because I've got a really amazing team. Most of the funding for my team comes out of pocket. I told you I'm a certified V3 employer. Over 50% of my team is women. 75% of my team is veterans. We just be up here just trying to do and serve for you. So go to delegatejackieglass.com. Tell your friends, like if you like, look, I know this politician lady. I don't mind being called a politician because it is what it is. That is doing good work. Go give her $100. Go do it. Just make that investment one time, or do $10 a month for the year. That's $120, right? Like I need it. And I hate this game of money and politics, but it truly is. And there's got to be a more sustainable way. And I think after this cycle, I'm going to be getting with my team to figure out how do we do this in a more sustainable way. I didn't say this, but I'm going to put this out. But the first 20 people that come to the fundraiser, I have certified doer cookies for you. And there's a specific dollar amount that we have certified doer ball caps that we'll be giving out to people that have given a certain dollar amount. I think that's like 35 people. I can't remember, but or 30 people, something like that. But we're doing it. So I'll either see you on Monday or I'll see you next Thursday. But either way, I want to see you. If you got an event, go ahead and drop it to us. I'm grateful to have you. Until next time, I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and a laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. I'm so grateful. Look at what we get to do stuff and things together. All right. I will see y'all on the flip side. Oh, if you a person that went to go see the budget yesterday, holler at me. Tell me what happened with the budget and stuff. Okay. Peace.